Good evening and happy Valentine's Day. Welcome to Sarah and Tyler, The Early Years. Along with the help of some friends, we're going to take a little walk down memory lane tonight, and I'm hoping to share some of the great memories Sarah and I have made together. Hopefully you can all see exactly why we're so happy together and why our relationship is so great. Obviously we can't go through everything, so this is just a little taste, but I hope you enjoy. But the first real adventure we went on was houseboating. And for people who have never seen houseboating, there's really not any words that can actually describe it. It's actually, you just got to see it to actually know what happens there.
I don't really remember a whole lot from houseboating, just because, you know, you start out breakfast with vodka and OJ.
Crazy, especially with our crew.
So let me just set this up for you exactly. I mean, this is how the whole thing started out. When you get there, the houseboat rental place gives you somebody, one of their staff members kind of comes out, shows you how to get the boat going, gets you started, gets you, supposed to get you, I don't know, like gets you a few feet off the dock or whatever. But we had a guy named Johnny, he was an Australian guy, and we just straight up kidnapped him.
Hey Johnny, how come you're here? Tell us why you're here.
You know, I was just taking it easy, chilling. At the end of the day, yeah, I got napped.
He got kidnapped!
Like, we just took him with us, wouldn't let him go back. And for the beginning of the night, you know, at least for the afternoon, he was just having a great time. But let me tell you something, by sundown, that guy was done. When you first pull up, it's to Neil, everybody takes the houseboats to Nielsen Beach. And when you first go up, it's just as far as you can see both ways, it's just houseboats lining. And it's, you know, you get there during the day, but in reality, it's just a gong show waiting to happen.
No.
Oh, thank you, Jesus. Sarah! Yeah! Welcome to Nielsen Beach! And how do you do? Oh, we love Nielsen Beach!
I remember when we first got there, the very first thing I did was, the boat's in 3 levels, and the very top level is sort of just a viewing deck, and it's got a hot tub right below it. And you know, we'd already been drinking and like on the boat right out there, and I was up there, everybody's climbing down, and so I figured it was a good idea just to jump off in front of everybody. But the water from the hot tub had been splashing over. I landed and just like slipped right out instantly, landed on my elbow, just shattered it, split open, blood everywhere. Just and I was just sort of like, you know, just a simple precursor for the beginning of the week. In reality, I don't even really know what else to say or how to put it into words. I think it's just something you've got to, you've just kind of got to witness.
We hit Terminus!
You know what? I love Tyler so much. We're gonna be together forever.
Anyway, from there, I guess the next big event was Christmas. We had it was our first Christmas together. It was an unbelievable day. I remember Elliot got a karaoke machine for Christmas that we busted out after too much tequila, and we were I was singing Sweet Caroline to her, but changing the words to Sweet Sarah Graham. I got a hand pretty fast, but anyway, I wanted it to be real special the first Christmas together, so I planned us a trip to Hawaii. I had finished shooting a movie in Ireland in 2004, and I had to go to Honolulu to shoot the last couple scenes for it. and I stayed at this little Holiday Inn way out by the airport, way outside of Waikiki. But I went in there every day, and I'd just see the Royal Hawaiian, the big pink hotel on the beach. And I knew at some point I would come back and stay there. So when I booked the trip, I booked us a room overlooking the ocean there. And it was pretty much for the first time just me and Sarah all by ourselves, just together for days. And we just hung out at the pool and went on catamaran rides and went out for dinners and just did great things. And it was really one of the most memorable times of my life.
Hello again, it's you and me. Kinda always like it used to be. Sipping wine, killing time, trying to solve life's mysteries. How's your life? It's been a while. God, it's good to see you smile. I see you reaching for your keys, looking for a reason not to leave. If you don't know if you should stay, if you don't say what's on your mind, baby, just breathe. There's nowhere else tonight we should be. You wanna make a memory. I dug up this old photograph. Look at all the hair we had. It's bittersweet to hear you laugh. Your phone was ringing, I don't wanna ask. If you go now, I'll understand. If you stay, hey, I got a plan. You wanna make a memory. You wanna steal a piece of time.
So we had pretty much been best friends and in love since the day we met. I have no doubt about that. But after that point, it was just a whirlwind. We stormed into that summer, and it was just nothing but fun. We went on trips like every weekend. We were out on the boat every day. It was just this unbelievable mashup of friends and fun and just being together. We were literally inseparable, and it was just awesome.
It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. The regular crowd shuffles in. There's an old man sitting next to me, making love to his tonic and gin. He says, son, can you play me a memory? I'm not really sure how it goes, but it's sad and it's sweet, and I knew it complete when I wore a younger man's clothes. La 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 da da da, la la da 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 da.
Racer, come on, gonna go up me.
Sing us a song of the piano man. Sing us a song tonight. Well, we're all in the mood for a melody, and you've got us feeling alright. Now John at the bar is a friend of mine. He gets me my drinks for free, and he's quick with a joke or to light up your smoke, but there's some place that he'd rather be. He says, Bill, I believe this is killing me, as a smile ran away from his face. Well, I'm sure that I could be a movie star if I could get out of this place. Oh, la 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 da da da.
An important thing to note coming out of that summer was at some point along the line we'd started going to Vegas, and we were going a lot. Now everybody knows the rules of Vegas, and I have so many stories and I wish I could tell them, but every single one involves somebody that wouldn't want me telling it. So I'm not going to be able to go into many, but there is one in particular that I want to tell. Now, Sarah has this way about her that you need to know before I tell this story, of kind of turning when she's been drinking.
She is super fun and loving at the start of the night. And then at some point in the night, it can happen early, it can happen late, it can happen when you're dropping her off. She switches, and typically it's targeted towards me.
Well, we usually start out with some wine over dinner, and that leads into more wine. And then after that, we usually start tapering off somewhat. And Sarah's still into the wine. And then at some point during the night, about halfway through, she turns into this different person.
Love Sarah to death, but after, a few drinks, she tends to go to the dark side.
And we all know that person, so we just laugh about it, but it's quite funny.
Well, that's another thing she does. Total SG. That's how my parents know. Which one, Sarah? The one that does the dance moves? I'm like, yeah, Dad, that's, yeah. But, so she's giving her on a speaker, and next thing you know, we don't know where Sarah is. We're looking around everywhere, and she's like on the ground, slipped off the speaker, bruised, probably like this big, somewhere on her thigh a week before her wedding. Good thing the dress was long, but the bathing suit that she was wearing earlier in the week exposed that. Oh, Sarah. We've all been there. Bruises are a sign of a good night.
And the last time this happened, she was getting out of the car after we drove her home, and I think, Tyler, you were waiting on the deck for her, and she was getting out of the car, and she was saying goodbye to everybody, had a great night. However, she felt differently about me, and as she began to become a little bit belligerent towards me, she tripped and fell down the hill of your driveway. So it was a bit of karma.
Well, just one in specific that I can remember because it's fresh in my mind, which has to do with Tracy Steggett, which the girls visited San Francisco and Napa Valley. So we were in San Francisco at our hotel room, and we were going down to the fire pit downstairs from our hotel. There was a bunch of fire pits out there, and everyone kind of gathered around and had some wine or drinks of their choice, and listened to some music, and it was very casual. We were all in our sweatpants or casual clothes, and Sarah had her fair share of wine, and she insisted on wearing her stilettos out to the fire pits. We told her that it was not appropriate and that we were all wearing our runners or flip-flops or, boots, and no, she insisted. So down she went with her jogging pants and her sweatshirt and her stilettos, and she had to have them on. So we just let her wear them, and everyone's staring at her for a while, but then as soon as she got talking, they understood why she was insisting on wearing her stilettos. She just didn't really know any different.
I call it going Graham. Anyway, it's Super Bowl weekend 2007, Giants versus Patriots, and we're at Caesar's Palace one night. There's a bunch of us, and we start playing blackjack, and it's going very well. I mean, like, it's just stack. We can't lose a hand, and Sarah and I are having a great time. Everything's awesome. We had a great night. I think we went to Le Rev at the Wynn earlier in the night. Happy. Everything's perfect. So suddenly I'm looking down, I'm thinking like, man, we've stacked up a good chunk of chips here. It's time to cash out. So I tell Sarah, I say, let's go do something else, whatever. And all of a sudden, bam, Graham hits right there. I can see it in her eyes when she looks at me, and she says, why do you always get to cash in the chips? So I'm thinking, like, just to avoid the fight, I'm like, you know what, Sarah, just take them, like, go. So she packs up all the chips. She's all mad and grumpy, and she pours them in her pockets and takes off. So she's off, so I go grab a drink at the bar, and I'm waiting, and there's people waiting, and like 25 minutes later, she strolls back in there with her having a beer. It's a big happy smile on her face, and I say, so where's the cash? And her face changes right there on the spot. So long story short, she put her jacket down with all the chips in the pocket and lost it somewhere along the line. So now she's back to being Graham again. The happy's gone, so we call her phone, and somebody answers, and it's security. So we go back through all these long trenches and tunnels all into the depths of Caesar's Palace, and we get to the very back, and security has her jacket with the phone in it, but obviously the chips are all gone. So she's back to just flipping out back there, calling all the security guards thieves and saying they stole it. And quite frankly, we were lucky just to keep our spot in the hotel after that. she still swears up and down to this day that that's not how it went and not how it happened, but it is. And the funny thing was, I was looking for pictures because I know that at some point throughout the time, I know I've seen us sitting at that table with the chips in front of us, but anyway, those are gone. She's obviously destroyed the evidence, but that's just one little taste of Sarah in Vegas.
Get what they looking for, keep what they looking for. Yeah. All they got to do is tell me what they looking for. Yeah. Dope man, dope man, dope man. Alright. Dope man, dope man, dope man. Yeah. Money to be made, best believe a nigga clocking. Yeah. I run it myself like a quarterback option. Yeah. I picture 10 G's, tell a bitch to go shopping. She buy herself some clothes and she bought me back a chopper. See, niggas trying to kick it, but no, I don't play soccer. I'm all about my cake, I'm trying to marry Betty Crocker. A package on the way, you know my whip game proper. And all for 1 key, I see $70,000. Now I was shooting dice, smoking on the joint. I bet with your guy that he hit 5 straight points. He over here hustling, he over here grinding. You rap about money and the nigga might sign you. Rap about me and the nigga might find you. Banana in your ass with your head right behind you. Dope game, bitch, let his mama worry about him. You can holler at me a fee.
Besides me with right lines and squeeze lines and have hoes in the hood sniffing on white lines. You don't want me to be your kid's role model. I teach him how to buck them 380s and load up them hollows. Have shorty fresh off the stoop, ready to shoot. Big blunt in his mouth, deuce in his boot. Sit in the crib sipping Guinness, watching Minister. Oh Lord, have a young nigga bucking shit like he old dog. My team, they depend on me when it's crunch time. I eat a nigga food in broad day like it's lunchtime. You feeling brave, nigga? Go ahead, get gully. See if I'ma leave your brains leaking up out your scully. I done made myself hot, so ain't shit you can tell me. Now niggas calling me the feature, man. Fuck your money. I ain't hurting, I'm aight, nigga. I'm doing good. I ain't got the right rhymes, I got bricks in the hood.
So I really had to battle to win Sarah. The first time I tried to kiss her, she just spun her head away on me. And the first time that I told her I loved her, she pointed right at me and said, "Don't say that to me." And another promise I made to her very early in our relationship is I said, "I'm going to take you to Paris one day and ask you to marry me." And I remember clearly she said with a lot of disdain, "Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it." But in September of 2007, I took her to Paris and asked her to marry me. And I knew exactly where I wanted to do it, at this little park just below the Eiffel Tower. And honestly, everything like almost worked out perfectly. I remember I slithered off the bench we were sitting on to one knee and I went, "Blah, blah, 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 marry me." And I guess she got the point because she said yes. And I remember the instant she said yes, the Eiffel Tower lit up with all its flashing lights. It was, I mean, honestly, it was about as perfect as it can get. But that was the first night we were there. And it was the rest of the week that we were there was just unbelievable. We did so many fun things. I know Sarah booked us a tattoo appointment, and it was in this little dark, dingy back room of like a hair salon, and this creepy French pervert gave us tattoos, and she had hers in a fairly awkward spot, very low on her stomach. And to say the least, the guy was, I think, kind of enjoying the view a little too much maybe. But at one point he pulled the tattoo gun away and it just dragged across her stomach, and still to this day she has just a very thin line tattooed in the middle of her stomach. It's sort of a kind of a funny memory of the whole thing. But we just spent that whole trip just being together and touring things and drinking wine in little French restaurants, and it was honestly one of the most memorable times of my life, and I will definitely never forget it.
paesi che non ho mai veduto e vissuto con te, adesso si li vivrò con te.
Très bon.
So that's about as far as we can go tonight. We're going to end before we get on to our wedding, which was one of the most amazing weeks of my life spent up in Kelowna. But as the way I see it is that Sarah and I probably have another 50 or 60 Valentine's Days together, so there'll be plenty of time to get on and show all the details. As you can see, we've had one hell of a journey together, and it's so exciting that I know that it's going to keep going on, and now we have kids and just an amazing life and future together. So with that, I'm going to let this come out one more time with one last little bit of slideshow of Sarah and myself doing what we do best, and that's loving each other.
Where it began, I can't begin to knowing, but then I know it's growing strong. Wasn't the spring, and spring became the summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline, good times never seem so good. I've been inclined the night, and it don't seem so lonely. We fill it up with only two. And when I hurt, hurting runs off my shoulders. How can I hurt when holding you? Touching warm,